I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Did everybody have a chance to review the previous minutes?
Then I will make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
I will second the motion.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Yeah,
I,
All right. Finances we covered last meeting. Any others on the consent agenda? Visitors, Mr. Horgan. Come on up to the hot seat. Well, we know you're a salesman, so we want to get you out of here quick.
All right, so, good evening.
Good.
So I have some financing options for the board to look over.
So
on the
just
loader.
in case anybody is unaware, Mr. Horgan is representing Pete's Equipment. Who was nice enough to bring up a Hyundai loader for us to try out. As ours is, what year is ours again? 91, 2? 99. Oh, the grader is. Yep, that's right. So Mike, can you pull that mic closer to you and hit the button in the middle there? Just so we have everything you say on record and can use it against you in the.
So I gave you, so everybody should have, you should have an annual. And you have monthly options.
Okay.
Don't feel pressured to think that any of this is approved or it was just a generic. This is the company that we have dealt with on the order before, and it goes through a lot. It works with a lot of, obviously, because it's MCL government capital, it works with municipalities. And being that it's source well funded, you wouldn't have to go through the finding 3 quotes.
Okay.
We can automatically, if you decide that you want to choose our loader, then you can choose it.
Okay.
One should be a monthly, one should be
Yeah,
a,
we've got some confusion here.
Okay.
We've got, Paul and I are looking at the same thing, I think.
so you've got
That's the yearly.
a yearly
Yeah.
and you've got a monthly.
Oh,
Okay.
because we were seeing that as a.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
You got a yearly.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
You've got a monthly.
It's been a long Monday.
Right here in the payment section is where we're looking. Okay.
So basically it's broke down, as you can see with the town of Bakersfield. What I thought was, it gave you a lot of flexibility. But you can defer those monthly payments. And you can also, like I highlighted there, you can defer that annual payment. Basically, you don't have to make payments for a year.
Okay.
so what, at the end of the lease, what's the buyout? Is it a dollar buyout? Do we own it outright?
George.
It's a lease.
So it's a lease to own?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So my reasoning and in thinking with Josh and talking with Mac and the boys, couple things. A brand new loader like this. We wait until 2025 is gonna go up $30,000. If that's right now, I have no, it's to be out of my control what it does. The gentleman that I brought to look at the town's loader would have loaded it that way. He's still interested, I hope. So I'm relying on, I'm hoping that he's interested. And just this, another year, do I think that 25,000 is gonna hold true to your loader value? First of all, says no, but we have no idea. And I don't wanna make, I'm not trying to pressure you, I'm just trying to, I know you had some truck issues and the equipment funds kind of got depleted, so I was just, I threw it out to Josh and.
Told him I'm just one guy, come to the meeting, show everybody what the cards there. So I mean. It all makes sense. I think. I don't think this is a decision that we could make on our own. I think in March, it could be a ballot item. I don't know. Just like when we started buying new trucks and stuff, it gets to the point where it's in a rotation. I think our rig is obviously in a rotation that it's on its way out. But, like with the trucks, we've set up a rotation. It gets to a certain point, we trade it in. If we were to buy new, then we could set up a rotation, whether it be a 10-year rotation or whatever, so have you.
Yeah, and that's not to say that if you said, okay, we're gonna wait till March. You can price it brand new one just like this.
Right.
It's not.
Any questions from the board here as far as,
No, I think the option.
yeah, Mac? Do you want to be able to see what we're looking at since, you're kind of,
I haven't seen, I haven't seen the price of time yet. We've got one down in the garage right now.
save you up from having to search for that, because I did do the math and I'm assuming it's because of interest rates. If we were to do the monthly payment, it comes up to 32,964 a year. It's about $1,000 more, and I'm assuming that's all based off the interest of going with 12 payments instead of one.
I did speak with the lady that I've been working with, her name is Cora, so she did say if you decided to do an annual. That 31,921 might vary just because of interest.
Right.
Yeah. So you're saying we should put a plus or minus due to interest on that? I'd probably assume that would do the same thing with the monthly too. They're both gonna be plus or minus. Obviously, this one's gonna be bigger because it's one lump sum, but eventually it's gonna be about the same depending on interest rates, so.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, if you wanted to defer your first monthly payment by 6 months, it's obviously a lot bit because of interest, but
Right.
probably not that much.
This is,
Does Mac have any questions?
Yeah, I got that.
I just think, we'll go and see, we should buy everything we don't see. Donnie said, and Ace has been up, and I'm not, well, I was thinking to play with yet, but.
Okay.
What type of loader is this? Who makes it?
this is a,
This is on
now I'm assuming this is the same, guess I shouldn't assume. The service on this would be
Yep.
extended warranty. What does this carry for a warranty on it right now?
Same as the excavator, 3 year, 3,000.
Okay, did we extend that to 5?
Yeah.
Center pin on our loaders are guaranteed for life.
Okay. We'll make sure that's in the minutes, just so that if Mac has any questions when Sandy or Case comes, that we're comparing apples to apples. I mean,
You would extend to 5 years, you said?
There's 3 year, 3,000. Then there's 5 year, 10,000 structural. And the center pin is 1 feet for life. And we could price the extended like we did in the excavator.
yeah, and I don't think it was
It wasn't that.
it wasn't crazy for what we were actually getting, so otherwise we wouldn't have gone with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Worth the protection.
Yep. Yeah, so I have to agree with Mac and crew that, we gotta talk with Sandy, see what they're gonna offer. Case, like I know, can't remember the guy's name. I wanna say Justin, but I don't know.
Randy.
Randy? Okay. I've been dealing
Reach
with,
out.
I just haven't been dealing with a lot of salesmen lately. Yeah, we'll get in touch with them, make sure that we're comparing apples to apples and see where we are there. Yeah. Sound good?
Sure.
Perfect.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Mark?
I'm representing Northwest Solid Waste District
Yep.
and
So hang on a minute, Mark. Can we get you to hit that button there just so that we, just below it?
press.
Where it
the
says,
word that says
there you
press.
go.
You're on. This is something we just need the town's permission. I wanted to give these out. It's a form that we
Thank you, sir.
submit every year, every 10 years.
Here, a couple.
And it's just the formality, mostly.
No.
And also, if anybody really is interested, and then there's a map of the territory that everybody is using down there. It's by the old fire station.
Mhm. Yep.
And all this amounts to is getting permission from the town that we can use it for the next 10 years. And pretty much,
Has it been 10 years at that location already, Mark?
yeah,
Yes, it
it was.
That's crazy.
Fire station, they had it arranged different.
Yep.
But it was, it's been, of course, the names have changed.
Yep.
I had to take this and change all the names.
Yes.
The only name that was the same was Lance.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
people that are running it and the representatives are all that different.
Yep.
So it's,
Okay.
time flies.
It does.
It's along the bank by the garage. Okay.
Well,
The
that's
only
right,
question I
too.
have, Mark, is, and it's not a big thing, but it doesn't say anywhere here it's 10 years. I mean, in your head, it's 10 years. If we sign it, we're just given the rights. to
It
do
doesn't
this,
say.
right?
Let me say 10 years.
I don't think I saw 10 years here. Let me read it again.
Okay.
I may have read it too fast
Um,
for the entire time. How many
Yeah.
companies will exist for the entire time operates since time site to site?
I can add that in if you want. I just got this thing.
Yes,
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would agree.
We can write it in and initial it. I mean, that's fine too, but I'm just saying you were mentioning 10 years and I just don't see it on here.
If we're gonna make that change, could we correct my name? It's Nicola. It's an A on the end of an E. And again, it's
Cool.
Nicola.
Pull
Nicola.
It's not Ricola, but Nicola.
Nicola.
It's like the Nicola. I haven't had that yet.
So yeah, that one's new, right?
Lordy.
Other than
Sign it.
that, Mark, I don't see any problems. We'll put the 10 years in there, correct the spelling of Nicola's name. And,
I think where it
That's
says
fine.
entire time is where the
right,
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
should be.
yeah, the unencumbered rates will exist for 10 years.
Can I ask another question? And this is just me. Who carries the insurance on the property if someone gets hurt while dumping their trash? Not that I'm stopping it, Mark. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Is that covered by the Northwest Solid Waste District?
I'm not sure.
We don't have any indemnification.
As I say, per the.
Right, that's what I'm curious.
If we're leasing this to them, then
Right.
yeah, I would
Either
I would assume that they would have the,
Right. Can you check on that as well? And if you have it, put it, and the only reason I ask is someone goes to drop the trash and something happens, God forbid, and
Yeah,
the next thing you know, the town's being sued or both of us are being sued. I just want to make sure there's insurance on that property.
to be added to that. You're right.
Yeah, there should be somewhere in here that it says that.
Northwest Solid Waste District will carry
Yes.
liability insurance for
Right.
the leased term of the property.
There.
Right. We really lease it to them?
For no price.
Okay, so I didn't think they were, that's why I'm asking, like, we really lease
No,
it?
no, no, it says in here, no. You know,
I frequent it, so.
yeah, so do I. Sometimes I always go, huh. This is built 2 foot or 3 foot on center, no, 16 on center. Bigger guys have to worry about that stuff.
But yeah, if you can make those changes, those 3 changes.
And would you be able to sign it this week or something like that?
We have another
Meeting
meeting,
Wednesday, if you apply by
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That we could sign this for you and get you a copy.
I'd like to put it to the vote tonight so that we don't have to record Wednesday's meeting, just saying that we're gonna sign it.
Yep.
Right, so there's 3 changes, the 10-year, the term. Nicola's last name, Nicola,
Thank you.
last
Getting
name,
closer.
Nicola's first name.
and the insurance provision, if you could.
See, where would you,
Myself, I would put, the
Yep.
town of Bakersfield gives the Northwest Vermont Solid Waste District unencumbered rights to use the town property located at for the term of 10 years or the duration of 10 years, right? You put it at the end, the drop-off site, or put it after the address.
I would have put it in the second paragraph.
Yeah.
These unencumbered rights will exist for the amount of 10 years that the Northwest Solid
Duration.
Waste District operates the site, included
Yeah,
to include time.
And then Northwest Solid Waste District.
Time and insurance?
Yes.
Yeah.
liability insurance, I think, especially with winter, people slipping and sliding and anything else that may happen there. Not that, apparently it's never been brought up before, but that doesn't mean tomorrow it won't happen.
Right.
You making a motion to sign it?
I think I'd like to make a motion to sign the amended document presented by Mark on Wednesday to include the additions of the 10-year term. You tell me when you're ready. The amended document as presented with the inclusion of the following 3 items. You tell me when you're ready to go after that.
Okay.
1, it stipulates the duration of the term, 10 years. 2, it has the liability insurance included in the wording. That they will provide liability insurance for the duration of the term. You thought of another one? Go ahead.
Well, we should have an out. So we should say with 60 days, 90 days notice.
Oh, you're
So
saying in
we-
case we have to, in
Right, in
case we
case
have to
that
break it for
property, for
some
whatever
reason.
reason, something happens, we need that property, we need to have an
Not
out
bad.
somewhere in there.
3, that there is a clause that enables both parties to exit with 90 days notice. Sorry.
I'd like to see that one.
Just as a separate line item
Yeah,
somewhere.
just one more moment and I'll finish. And 4, terminate,
Terminate.
exit the agreement, terminate the agreement with 90 days notice. 90 enough for you, Mark, or do you need like 120? I don't think we're terminating, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you're talking 3 months, 4 months.
I don't know exactly where else we go. That's
Right.
what I'm thinking,
Right.
I would imagine if there was a reason that we needed to end that site,
Right.
we as a town would be willing to help you locate another site. Because the town
Benefit.
we could benefit from it. So I mean, we're not gonna just say, hey, Mark, you got 90 days to find a spot and guess what? We're not helping.
But maybe 120 is the better number. That's 4 months to kind of
think
identify. another
120 is
location.
probably-
120 with 120 days notice. And then the final stipulation is the correction of the spelling of Nicola.
Almost. Nicola, yeah, A on the end.
where would you like to see the 120 days?
It's her first name.
Yeah,
She needs an A
last
instead of an
name's
E.
right.
Given permission to come forth through the property. Do you think at the end of the second paragraph,
That's
just
what I
putting
would
that,
It could just be, it could be.
or an additional paragraph, Mark, why don't you throw an additional paragraph in there, make it easier?
Okay, and that would be 100.
120 days
20
notice, notice.
Um,
And that's mutual. So if for whatever reason, the solid district wanted to pull out,
You got
they
it.
would give us 120 days notice.
Yep.
And vice versa.
Notice for. Let's see, what it say, 120 days notice to.
Terminate the agreement. Because that's a good point. God only
I
knows, you know.
didn't think of it till the end.
Yeah, that's good. We got it in there. And that's my motion.
I will second that motion.
I will call for a vote, but I'm not repeating the motion. Yeah, as I say, it's recorded, it's out there. I will call for a vote for us to vote on Wednesday, or sorry, to sign on Wednesday pending the corrections that were just discussed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 4-0.
Anything else, Mark?
Not really, just to get this redone and signed.
Yep.
So try to get everything.
We're back here Wednesday at what? What was it? 6:30?
6:30.
6:30?
Yep.
6:30, Mark. If you fly by
Okay.
this Wednesday at 6:30, we'll be here. We can sign it real quick for you. Before we go into executive session.
Okay.
Perfect.
You have to do it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry for the homework.
Well, I got this past Friday. And I had to thumb through to find the old agreement.
Right.
Because I didn't feel like I'm a terrible typist. So I didn't feel like running it. And then Kathy amazingly found it. In 2014.
Perfect.
Dramatic.
Way to go, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Alex.
Evening, Alex. We're wonderful. Did Tammy print out? I asked Tammy to print out Alex's two documents.
I've got copies right
We have a copy also. Thank you.
I sent a new version.
Yeah.
I know, you said you'd bring it with you.
I got that. Right, so you got the report though. right?
Yeah.
You want copies?
I'll gladly take whatever you print.
It's this one.
Because they're in there and there's probably one copy of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's the old one. This is the updated. Oh, that, I didn't realize that one.
So
That one with it.
I'll start with the report and then we can dig into the proposal, because that might take a little bit longer. So. All right, just a general update on grant work for this town. First, I want to say congratulations to us all for a successful program grant to beat plan.
Very nice work.
We got the grant to install the flashing beacons at the crosswalk between the school and the library. John, you were the contact on that grant, so if any agreement comes and part of what my contract says that I can do for you all is like create like a summary of what needs to be done for compliance reasons. I'm happy to do that if you want me to spend time on that. I just need to see the agreement. It wouldn't
Yeah.
come to me, it would come to you probably.
I'll keep an eye out for it. It's coming to the JH West or the J West at Techville, you know?
I would have to look on the grant. I think
Take a
it's
peek
the
on-
default one.
Take a peek, let me know so that I don't accidentally.
I will do that. Yeah.
Junk
Keep an
it,
eye on
delete it.
spam. Well, it gets automatically.
Yeah,
blocked.
no, I know.
I mean, I V-Trans would probably also contact it down, because I'm sure you'll have to sign something that says, you know, here's what you have to do to get this, so. Since the last select board meeting, done, a little bit of work with the fire department. We've submitted an application for, what we call an in-kind donation, right, of radios.
Mhm.
You haven't heard anything, Todd? You have a contact on that, yeah. To Radio Well, they refurbish radios and distribute them to fire departments around the country. I'm also working with Ginger on an application to Brothers Helping Brothers. That's for new boots and helmets for the fire department. It's looking like that one will shake out to be in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $10,000, depending on what we finally kind of decide. It's close to being submittable. She and I were exchanging emails about it today, so that should go in within the next couple of days.
Mhm.
And then next one, kind of targeting, it's also down below, is days prior to subs, so I know we talked about that. They open their application on October 10th. Love to have it ready when it opens, because they only take like the first 200 applications across the country. So it's kind of a race the clock situation when it opens. Todd, I would actually love to get together with you soon about that and talk further about the breathing apparatus.
Right.
You know the technical terms way better than I can do. And I know we have to get some quotes and things for that as well. Also attended the Conservation Commission. I know that they are working on a grant for planting trees around town. But I think they have some support from the Regional Planning Commission for that application. And if that's the case, that's great. You don't have to use my time for it, but I'm happy to support that group if needed. And then the big monster in the room right now is the Municipal Energy Resilience Program implementation funding, with the state kind of changing the rules in the 11th hour, making us eligible and giving us about 15 days to get it done. So we'll dive into that one here shortly. John, I think you last update I did, you asked me to kind of keep you abreast of the hours that I've spent.
Yes.
Our contract has 100 hours generally. That didn't include the 50-50 split with other entities in town though. So as of Thursday, when I wrote this report, it was 38.25 hours. And most of that has been on MERP and the V-Trans proposal. Yeah.
When did that start, Alex?
I think it was in June. Yeah. That's when we had to submit the V-Trans. I can look at the exact date if you'd like to know.
Just
And obviously, if this is going well, we'll continue to be successful and want to amend the agreement for more hours or extend the time period, we're happy to talk about that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna jump down to new grant opportunities too. It's not exactly new. I think I've talked about this one before, but I really think the T-Mobile hometown grants is a pretty strong opportunity that we might be able to take advantage of. Particularly around some of the projects for historical preservation. I'm thinking Brigham or even the library could take advantage of it. They have a vested interest in kind of like technological projects. And maybe they bring a cell tower to it. So
That would be nice.
I don't know. But I feel like it seems like they're constantly taking applications with a rolling basis, so we can get it done on any particular timeline we wanted to. But generally, they support small town funding, although their definition of small town is still 30,000 people. So
Right.
we're
Tiny. We're teeny tiny.
We're in there.
right. But they, from what I've read, they want to make investments that would really make a difference in terms of like connecting the community. So whether that be an event or physical infrastructure, I think that. So just one to think about, for the future. That's my report. Any questions?
thank you for catching the MERP thing, by the way.
Yeah.
You were on that. That was a good thing.
Just because you brought up the new grant opportunities, there was kind of one that I was talking with Todd and Nicola about before the meeting. It would be a big grant, but can we keep our eyes open for municipal buildings, like new? Yep.
Okay.
Highway department.
Highway department's building is it
Mm.
served its purpose, it's past its prime. Maybe it's time to start looking at it seriously. We do have the property over on Egypt Road now, so it gives us a bigger area for hopefully a larger footprint that would be better, more use for our town crew. So
Yeah.
but if we start looking now and we don't find anything for a year or two, then at least we're looking. So
Yeah, I'll look back through some of V-Trans old grant RFPs and stuff that they put out there. It's all public info, so maybe we can target a program or two. It might be spreading across a few grants.
yeah, most of the towns around us have upgraded their buildings, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing it all out of pocket. They've got to be getting grants somewhere. So now that we have you and you're doing such a great job, then we're gonna use you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know that there's a few like banks that also make capital grants to entities, but they're not probably of that size and scope. They're, you know,
Well, I think
others.
yeah, I think the first one we'd have to look at is, like Todd said, we're gonna have to look at a grant just for getting an engineered plan. Once we have that, then we can move to the next step, which would be the actual structural.
Yeah, it's too bad that I know we applied to get that building assessed under MERP, and
Yeah,
if we had done that, there could have been. We probably could have included that design work
Hmm.
for a new facility. I don't know. Should figure.
Yeah, but at least, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. So looking
Yeah.
forward, we can, if something comes up and it fits the bill.
Yeah.
We can jump at it.
Yeah, I can do some searching, and certainly if you guys see anything that would affect that. I think the zoning administrator sent me something that he thought could be used for it, but it was like timber for transit, and it was like
Yeah.
mainly for like public transportation systems. It wasn't necessarily others.
Yeah.
So, okay, to move on to MERP.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good. I have updated copies of the application if anybody wants them. The latest draft, I also invited, I know Wendy was supposed to be here anyway, but wanted her here as well because of how
Just
the
the-
grant might affect the library.
Is this the new one?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll take that
Hard to
one.
tell.
Okay.
Yeah, I know this.
I use the tech folder now.
10 pages long, so.
You don't need to find an email address. I see it's my tech folder email.
Yeah, okay. I did, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I thought I could just go through the comments mainly, and open up some discussion. So this grant is kind of weird. It's definitely, even the Northwest Regional Planning Commission says the state has not given great guidance on how to accomplish this proposal. And Marlena at the planning commission has been fantastic. In fact, tomorrow after we have a chance to have our conversation, I'll make some updates, and she's offered to review this before it gets submitted to the state, and provide some advice to us. And so I'll do my best to kind of walk through the details, and certainly stop me if there's anything that's not clear or seems weird. So first page, John, do you want your email address on here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Or, okay. I didn't know if you would rather have it be the town of Bakersfield address.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, and your cell phone too, right? That's
It's all over the place anyhow.
okay.
Like people don't call it now.
I just want to check before you're getting calls and be like, what is this about, right?
It's all good.
The next question asks about, would we be outside of construction costs requesting funds to cover various things, one being a project review.
Hello?
My advice to you and how I've written this,
How
I'm
embarrassing.
really sorry. I turned it off.
my advice to you and how I've written this is to include some time for part-time staff of the town. I don't know who that might be for town hall. I know it would probably end up being Hadley at the library, so you can pay them some of their salary to manage some of this work that would get done. And so I've included that in the budgets that you'll see in a minute. Also, one stipulation of this grant is that they are asking that the buildings, and John and I talked about this on the phone, the buildings need to be ADA compliant. And so I know that there are issues with the buildings in terms of ADA compliance. I'd love to have a conversation about what those things are that we know, just so we can kind of say that. They're allowing 20% of the grant to be spent on increasing ADA compliance. So whether that's, widening the ramp outside or putting in a lift or whatever, it doesn't have to be energy related. So I've done that. I've put in 20% of the grant. to address those issues. When I talked to Marlena at the Regional Planning Commission, she recognized that the 20% might not go far enough to make the buildings 100% compliant. And she basically kind of said that there's not going to be an enforcement arm of this. They're not going to come and like get out their tape measures or,
Right.
come to the town if they're not. But they are going to require that 20% of whatever amount the town have to go toward the.
So we did talk about the ramp, either,
It's a half inch.
I know, I told them, didn't I tell you, we could route that off? We talked about routing it, flipping things around, but hey, they want us to dedicate some time to it, it's fine.
No,
The other
yeah,
thing I
just-
talked about was, not that I ever expect us to open that second floor, but if we were thinking about it, then we should put in one of those stair things, the chair that takes somebody who's handicapped up the stairs on a sit down and it rolls around the. I mean, there's nothing to say we can't ask for more money, right? We're putting in the application.
Well, 20% is the max.
Right.
You
Right.
can only ask for 20%.
Well, I can, that's right, but I just have to get us to $200,000 and boop, you're 20%, it's pretty good. Right?
Well, then you'd be including your solar panels and your tree lines.
That's the one thing, you know, when the suggestions they have is not 100% what we have to roll with either. So I mean, you know, it's not like because they said we need to, you know, put in ceiling fans everywhere that we have to put in ceiling fans. But it would make the wheels greased a heck of a lot easier if we just turn around and say, we took your energy assessment and did it.
Yeah.
Now, I put a caveat to that because I don't care about heat pumps and I don't, you know, and if you want to do that, that's fine. But we still, because the temperatures get down too low, we still need to replace the furnaces in the basement. So if that's not added into here, we need to put in there that we're going to be acquiring energy efficient oil burning furnaces or furnaces for the basement. We can leave it.
My advice to you is I would not say that in the application. You can still do it, but I would say.
We just need the funds.
Well,
You're not gonna get it
Not
from
gonna
them.
get
is that
them.
what you're saying?
you probably won't. You will not get funds for fossil fuel-based systems in this.
We need to then we just say that we're gonna upgrade the heating system and leave it at a.
I think it's more likely that you would get the heat pumps and still be able to get a boiler to back it up.
Well, that's what I said originally was, I don't care about the heat pumps, but we still need to replace the boiler, because if we get down under 10 degrees, which we do, those heat pumps are extremely inefficient.
Well, and apparently they found a propane heater.
Yeah.
That, Tammy said that hasn't been turned on in years.
Do we even have propane here? We don't have a propane tank here.
Yeah, it's right behind him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it? Yeah, where's the propane tank that runs it?
Propane is out back. It used to be. I don't know if they removed it. I don't know if they have the tank anymore.
Is it a
anymore.
report that it's there?
Propane tank?
Yeah.
Thought there used to be.
Probably
one
hasn't
out
been
there.
inspected for a while, would be my
Yeah.
guess.
Is it out there? It's on the neighbor's land.
I mean, there's nothing to say you couldn't supplement the heat pump. You
Right.
can still do that, but you're gonna have to say you're gonna put in their
Yeah.
energy efficiency.
Yeah, you have to say you're going green.
We're telling, that's what I said, we put in that we're
Yeah.
going to go an energy efficient heating system.
Some of the newer.
Don't
heat pumps
mention
do
the
go
other-
down a lot colder now than they used to. They have heat. Electric. heat
I just
system.
know that
That's-
in there somewhere should be a quote for the furnace
Yep, I saw
replacement.
it.
and It was like 16 or something, 17,000.
It's actually right there, 16.4.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, John. I get that too. I mean,
We just need to
Well,
increase the amount we're
so-
asking for.
a week ago, 2 weeks ago, this wasn't an option.
Right.
If we were told we weren't getting it because the
Right.
state decided they needed the money somewhere else. So we went this route
Yeah,
because we had already established that we had put that money into the building fund.
right.
So we can still go this route.
Add this to, it, right.
MERP gives us a bunch of money for heat pumps. Well, now we're burning,
Well,
50 gallons of oil a year
Yeah, so
instead
yeah.
of 200.
But we have to upgrade the electric service here to put in electric heat pumps. It's like,
There you go. Now we've got something we can spend the money on from.
Tammy, is it a 60, 90 amp service? That's what, I knew it was low. It's not even 100 amps here.
So your
We're max right now.
Your speaker system with the lights on, which
The lights aren't flickering as we sit here.
there's a cable somewhere down.
We did not because we weren't going heat pumps. Now we're going back to heat pumps. We need to guesstimate what it would cost to upgrade that.
Gonna be expensive, yeah.
That is, and we only have to what, the 27th?
Yeah, right.
So you're probably gonna have to,
walk out with your approval saying I can submit this thing later this
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna have to jump that up, at least for the heating system,
Give you a
20,000 just for that.
Yeah, I mean, the guidance I've been given is that, so we're not required to submit
Oh,
bids,
right.
quotes.
The idea is just get an idea what it's gonna cost.
Right, and so literally what some towns are doing is they've got a contractor that's on their select board and they say, about cost about this, right? And so, it's not an exact science right now.
I mean, I don't think it would be, it's not gonna cost that much to
The panel.
upgrade the panel.
Right.
Because basically the
The wire
panel
is
and the
85.
service wire is what you have to upgrade. And
From the pole to the building into the panel,
yeah,
right? So whatever that costs, I'm
I
just,
mean, you're not looking at you're probably not looking at over $5,000.
I don't think it's $5,000.
No,
So-
I'm saying you could put in $5,000 and be well covered.
No, I was gonna say at least 10, but yeah, okay, because what people charge nowadays, copper's a fortune. When was the last time you
Yeah,
bought
they don't,
copper?
yeah, when was the last time you saw them put copper in for a service wire?
I wouldn't
It's all
put
aluminum.
So
I-
why don't we see if we can get Dave to give us a solid number? We're meeting Wednesday,
Dave.
Kathy's Dave,
Oh, okay, yep.
Sorry.
Guesstimate at least.
so that we'd be doing what other towns have done and give it a solid number. Would that?
Oh, yeah, he
I'd
just,
bring in a
he
200
just
amp
put,
service.
he just put in a 400 amp service at my
Right.
sugar house. So yeah, there's without a doubt, he knows what he's doing. But I can tell you, he's not gonna use copper.
So-
I don't think it's gonna be.
So could
I
we
know, but they're
vote
not gonna do
tonight to, I mean, once we get to that point, I know we haven't finished going through this, but I know Alex has got.
Yeah.
A deadline.
Deadline.
Yeah.
So if we could have that vote to say. This is fine, go ahead with the grant or the
So let's get
application
that in.
and we'll have
With
that
that
number,
in, right.
that number.
Mhm.
We could do that, right? I mean, that would.
Yep.
Gives you
Yeah,
more
I mean,
than
I can-
20%.
Yeah, I can basically kind of rewrite some of the narrative to say, it'll also include electrical.
Upgrades.
Upgrades.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Electrical
electrical
service upgrade.
Right.
'Cause I mean, yeah, I would imagine they probably ran a 3-aught from the pole anyway.
Right.
Just because they knew when when they ran that, they were like, yeah, this is not gonna stay a 90 amp service for long because
What's the breaker? Is the breaker on the pole like at my house, you think? Or do they run it right just from the transformer?
Green Mountains is probably on the meter socket on the wall, on the exterior of the building
So I
somewhere.
need a bump too if it's only 90.
They did a new service. It's the old, they ran it straight in.
You know, who could tell us?
So keep
There.
in mind, there's also a 10% contingency added to whatever cost you come up with, so.
I would still plunk that in because that 10% could be. So Tammy, if you could ask Kathy tomorrow to ask Dave whispered down the lane here. To give us an estimate on what it would cost to upgrade the service here to 200 amps.
Ballpark.
Ballpark estimate of what it would cost to upgrade the service for 200 amps. Then you could, I'm guessing that's enough for heat pumps, right? 200 amps. I don't know. I don't have.
For what else we run in this building? Yeah, I would say. It's not like we're running a hot tub and a pool.
Second floor.
Sorry, my service.
You can make it. Okay, we kind of got off line there. I want to go to number 10 about technical assistance. I chatted with Marlena about this one as well.
Yeah.
There's some options you can select. She noted that, so BGS is building general services for the state. She noted that they probably wouldn't be providing much technical assistance to towns. But to probably go ahead and just check the RPC one, because they do have funding, they get funding through this program to provide support, like if you need an RFP written, a bid document written, things like that.
Regional Planning Commission, is
Yeah.
that what we're talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it does say you could, you'll need a.
Can we also do the request for proposal assistance and then write in some of your time into that?
I think they mean like request for proposals for like bidding.
Work?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
bidding the construction work.
we're still gonna need that, at least the construction documents, right? That's gonna cost us.
Yeah. Normally, what I would, this grant doesn't have it, but a lot of grants do have like indirect or administrative costs that you can apply for. And that for sure, you could like continue to pay my hours in the future from, but. We'll see how their grant agreement would look if it would be successful.
I would say we probably want to do the construction documents.
Okay,
You want to do, who's going to oversee the work?
she couldn't give me a straight answer about the construction manager, like, I was like, so if we requested that, you know, do you guys go out and find one and like hire them and send them out, or, and she's like. She's like, I guess this is one of those things that the state doesn't really give them much clarification on, so.
Well, someone needs to oversee the construction, so
Right.
somebody's going to want to be paid for that, I'm sure, right?
I would have to know until like. I mean, if we're talking about replacing a furnace or installing heat pumps. Those usually, I mean,
They're done
that's
by the vendor,
by the vendor,
right? Same thing
And-
with the power upgrade.
yeah, and it's not gonna be, we're not talking about having somebody come here and. Reshingle the roof,
Yeah,
where
but you're
you,
gonna need someone to, either way, when they put all this stuff in, someone's gotta take out that wall over here. That wall to get down in there and disconnect and whatever. Even if it's just disconnect, let's just pretend we're getting rid of they're coming in, they're putting in this wonderful new heat pump system that's gonna keep us nice and toasty through the winter. They still have to get rid of the oil tank down the basement, get rid of the furnaces and all that stuff. That wall has to be opened up for that. So there is construction that has to happen in order to do what we're requesting that's above and beyond the cost of the heat pump.
so you're talking about hiring a GC.
You're probably gonna need some kind of general contractor to take the wall down, because if you read at least Allen's, the Holberts, they're not taking that wall out. Somebody's gonna disassemble and reassemble that wall right off the bat.
But that is not the construction manager. I feel like we're mixing apples and.
Well, no, we've kind of gone sideways with the
Yeah.
discussion. I apologize, but we're gonna need, I'm just saying back to, well, go ahead and continue with 10. I'm at 11 too. Go ahead.
I mean, so we should select all these options that you think you might need. So.
I would select anything, but we won't need any assistance. I mean, seriously, am I wrong?
No. Better to be safe.
How
than
does that
sorry.
impact our
It's
marketability? with
not
the-
part of the scoring criteria, so I
Okay.
don't think it would affect, I think. Just leaving your options open, from what Marlena said, VGS is probably worthless to select you. But maybe she's wrong, maybe there will be something in the future.
I mean, it's mainly, I'm fine with the Regional Planning Commission. You can skip BGS if you want. I think we should put in the construction documents because there will be things that have to come in and out. We're gonna need documents for future. Every time we're asked for this stuff, we should have some form of an as-built, right? Which is a construction document saying that this is the source, this is where it goes, this is where it is.
Permits involved. and all
Right, you
that.
got permits and everything else that we have to get.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if the term construction manager exactly fits the bill, but.
Now. Is construction manager and GC, are they interchangeable? Are we
Yeah, it's
talking the
another
same thing?
Yeah.
What is?
I
a
would,
constr-
I
what
would
is a
do
constr-
GC under other myself, because it says other explain, I would say we need a general contractor. And I don't know if it really belongs there.
Assistance with,
This
and we
is
don't.
Implement funds,
It's like the documents with the planning, with the permitting, with
right?
I think.
This isn't
Yeah.
talking about paying for it. This is.
Right, I think you're right, I think you will need a GC if you're all that work.
Yeah.
But that's not.
They're not asking if we need financial assistance. They're asking if we need technical assistance.
It's more the technical.
Like, so.
Right.
Technical assistance,
assistance.
no. I know like
Technical
7
assistance to
GCs and we
implement
could
the
call them
funds.
and they could all do that job and oversee.
I'm
what's-
sorry.
I think it says technical assistance to implement funds. I mean, frankly, we don't need anyone to help spend the money, but.
Right, so then
Yeah.
don't check all of these.
Yeah.
So just do the RPC, I guess, in the construction documents.
Okay.
That would be me. I still want to get the construction documents done.
So-
Wendy, do you have an opinion on what you would need at the library, or are you okay with both of those selections? or-
Well, yeah, you and I discussed.
Yeah, okay, I just want to check. All right, next section is about town hall, this building. The budget, we've already kind of delved into a little bit, so we're talking the replacement of the heat pumps, smart thermostats. I've I've added the 15% contingency that was in the report that they gave, because that's what they said it was gonna cost, right? So. Technically, we're adding in 15% of the contingency from the report and 10% later, so that's to our benefit. The thermal envelope improvements, this is where, we're talking about. Some other things, adding bad insulation to the attic. Doing door sweeps, better sealing around the doors. And I think there's windows, right? Yeah, windows.
There's like 6 windows or something.
Yeah, which if you can get windows for $5,000, you could be surprised, but. That, I had to use the numbers based in that report because that's what we've got at this point.
Well, their report, right?
Yeah,
So the windows are light. You're saying the price of the windows are light, but they're giving us 6 foot of door sweeps for $1,600.
yeah, I'm not saying the report makes sense, John, I
Yeah.
think that there's plenty of holes in that, but we have to use it in some capacity to guide our ass.
Are we talking about these windows or the upstairs windows or?
They're wooden. So these are all done. They're probably out in out here or upstairs. I don't know where.
Yeah, so,
Maybe upstairs, because I think all the downstairs are vinyl.
I was
aren't
gonna
they?
say, I thought they were all replaced not that long ago.
Must be something on the second, or do we have a third floor?
No.
Second floor.
yeah, they said that there were single fan, it's the same thing at the library, but I'm not really sure
But
what.
if they're, because they were talking about windows at the library, it was like, it looked like these here, except for.
Big.
By the door,
Yeah, right.
and that's a whole unit,
Yeah,
so.
Right. Which probably is
Yeah.
single pane.
To beef up the window.
Anyway, so I've taken the costs from the report and put it in here. If this costs need to change, we can talk about that. I'm gonna jump one line down to project support. So basically, BGS recommends budgeting 20% of the construction budget, so taking the two numbers we already talked about, 8,500 and change is 20% of those two. Heating system and those improvements. Then, again, you can spend 20% of the whole grant on ADA improvements, so 20% of the previous three numbers is 10,270. You see how this gets a little.
Yeah, me too.
Making the total project budget with a 10% contingency $67,435. Any questions about that? The library.
Like I said, we need to put in general contract and cost to open up a wall and close a wall, which will add to that. I'd say that's at least $4,000 or $5,000.
It's gonna sound stupid, Alex. But. With these funds, the town would be purchasing the items, correct? So would we, like, I noticed that they had like energy efficient thermostats in there, the heat pump system, et cetera, et cetera. Can we go back and get refunds on all that stuff through the Vermont?
Efficiencies of Vermont.
Efficiency program?
I have no idea.
I'm sure.
They came here. Efficiency Vermont came here and basically said we weren't.
Same.
Yeah,
Well, no, MERP is different than Efficiencies of Vermont. Efficiencies of Vermont came here once, not for this.
Right.
And it's a great question because if it's a grant, I don't think it matters if we get MERP grant. I think we contact the Efficiencies of Vermont and we say we're going with XYZ. What, if anything, can we get grant money for?
You can get thermostat, I know I got my thermostat at home for practically nothing, I've bought air conditioners for practically
Yeah,
nothing.
they give you money back left and right.
I think what's likely to happen if this application is successful is because they put the numbers in such large buckets, they're gonna say you have $20,000 to improve the thermal envelope of the building.
Right.
And these are the things you can do. And I know, like, I'm gonna put in a heat pump in a building at my property, and the rebate from efficiency provider gets passed on to me through a plumber who wants to do the install, right?
Right.
And so I imagine they'll reap some of that via the contractors. I think, you're gonna probably end up having a big sum of money to do, a broad scope of project, or not big scope, a certain amount of money to do a broad scope of project and then.
That's what I
You
think.
just go as far as you can.
You get as far as you can
Right,
get.
yeah.
So my question is for the breakout of items, maybe under other, I don't know, do we want to include 5,000 for electrical upgrades to the building to support this, or whatever Dave comes back with as a budgetary estimate? And do we want to include the general contractor work that has to happen to remove and rebuild the wall and possibly the steps into the basement? Which I would guess is probably somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 for them to do that.
You think it's gonna cost 10,000 to put in electrical and 3,000 to remove stairs and put them back?
No. I'm saying I don't know what electrical is gonna cost.
Oh.
I'm saying it's gonna cost us at least $5,000 to get the stairs and the wall down.
Well, without a doubt.
Right, so we need to add those line items is all I'm pointing out. Be that 7,500, I'm not a general contractor. Be that, whatever, because they're gonna put it to us a little bit. Everyone does, everything's,
Especially
cost of living, blah,
considering
blah,
you're
blah.
Asking
So
for it
what-
last minute.
Less the quote that hopefully Tammy can get Kathy to get Dave to give us real quick, a very budgetary number. Less that whisper down the lane, we also need to consider the general contractor side of it. To remove and give access to the basement and put it back. More importantly, put it back. And I can knock a wall down, it's never coming back. And we probably want to, I know it seems silly, but we probably want to try to save the stuff that's on there, because I don't think we can find this stuff and make it match color and all.
They did all right when they did that spot.
Well, they cut that already on an angle at one point when they filled that in. If we can carefully knock that back. No, I'm not talking the 2x4s. I'm just saying, oh, if they can match it, they can match it, whatever
I
needs.
was gonna say that window was just done, what, 6 years ago?
Let's go.
This window right here, the one that you drilled the pipe through.
Oh, I didn't even realize there was a window. That's
There
kinda
used to
funny.
be a window there and they framed
They
that
did
in.
that pretty good.
I think that was 5 or 6 years ago they did
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure the material is still available. It's just, when you get it, when you paint a car, they tell you, you just don't paint the door because it's gonna look different than the rest of the car.
Right.
So that's all I was
If we
pointing out.
add those in, what do you need from us? What do you need to be able to do that?
I need a number, and I think I've got, there's gonna need to be a wall that's knocked down, steps removed.
And then put back.
Yeah.
General contract work.
To do the two.
What do you think? Todd, what were you saying?
I was saying, you're talking about $15,000 probably to do.
For the electric and the steps? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking
Yeah.
somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, but
And so that would be to access the fuel tanks and the.
yeah, we gotta remove all that stuff. You can't leave that there. Under the understanding that we are going total electric, right? You can't leave a oil tank down the basement. It's all gotta come out.
So plenty.
It's a hazard, right? And you hear that commercial on the TV all the time, the radio all the time when you're driving around,
You
right?
got the unknowns too,
That's true.
because the state's gonna come in and they're gonna make you bring things up to current code because you're now.
Making
fixing things,
changes, yeah.
Making changes, so.
Yeah, I would say, do you think 15,000 is the number?
Notify the government of your change stuff.
Cause he's adding 10, but he's adding the 20 and the 10%. So the 15,000 is really gonna come out higher anyhow. But if we put in here, general contractor and electrical upgrades, we have to have that for this heat pump
Because your
system.
plumber's gonna pull a state permit, he's not gonna do it without doing.
So these are,
Electricians the same way, they're gonna pull state permits.
So is 15 enough or is 20 the number?
well, we've got to be careful
Just
because
gotta be careful, I
I'm
don't want to
assuming,
inflate either.
at
Right.
what point are they going to say this isn't a reasonable number? I mean,
I don't know about that.
I don't know that like if 10 or 15,000 is gonna make or break the application, the state has. Minus some mini grants that they've already gave, which were like $4,000, so even if every municipality in the state of Vermont got one of those, which they didn't,
Right.
they have about $36 million.
Right.
So I think, there's a good chance that Bakersfield gets something. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I never wanna say, there's never no guarantee in grant writing, but, it seems like there's funding with it. I think I would probably put that under the line item of the thermal envelope improvements, because in order to install
To do that, we've got to do
You're gonna
it.
have to go out, right?
So you say take that up to like 40 grand?
yeah, I would add probably the 15K that you guys
You-
just kind of.
You wanna put that under just other for electrical upgrades? Well, the electrical upgrades are supporting the energy system.
I think it's related to installing the HVAC system that they're recommending.
Right, so that would probably the electrical upgrades would probably fall underneath the first line item, right? Renewable energy improvement, high HVAC
Yeah,
improvements.
okay, so yeah, both, I think both of those would go under the heating
Okay.
system.
Right.
Yeah,
So I did 2 searches real quick just to see what was the average cost to run a 200 amp service in Vermont. Green Mountain Power says they're averaging $15 to $18 per foot for overhead.
Okay.
Okay, so from the pole to the
To the
building,
building,
and then the average for a 200 amp panel installation. Average costs per panel on 200 amp service is between $1,300 and $2,000.
so I was close with the 5 grand. With my guesstimate,
Right.
but that doesn't include labor, right?
Well,
That's just-
I would assume that does include labor.
So I think if we go 15, I think that's the number, right? We go
The
15K more. For the electric and if it goes higher, I mean, you know, the GC may be less, you know, it's just. You know, so,
You're at 7,500 a piece or something.
yeah, 7,500, taking a roll of the dice on those, and if we have to dip into the town hall repair fund, because that's what it's there for, then we have to, if we don't have enough, but to Nikki's point, we don't want to get greedy per se or crazy. I think 15's the number.
Nikki also, when I talked to Marlena at the Regional Planning Commission, she said that they are going to prioritize investments for the thermal envelope of the building and for heating systems.
Right.
And
Right.
so I'd rather put it in that line item.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
And she did note that it's possible that we ask for 120,000 and get 70.
Right. They'll give us what they want.
Right.
So,
And then in the narrative down here,
yeah.
in there, I would put, it includes, you know,
Oh, yeah,
the
of course.
service upgrades and things, general
So-
contracting costs.
So with the 15, we're jumping from 67.5 up to
75.
82.5.
That's gonna
I
affect
have
your
a
20.
spreadsheet I can just plug it into right now.
You're going 61.3 and then you're jumping 15, then you're adding that
If you're at
10%.
percentages on-
I was gonna say, you could add the
Right.
other percentages up. as
Right, so
well.
you're 61, 60,
So if I'm at
85.
66,
15,000,
76, 70, 76.5, 10% more,
2730, right?
76
so
and
that
70.
brings the heat system line item up to $39,677, and then the total project, because the other thing's updated,
That's good.
$94,759, but with the 10% contingency.
Right,
So
So
they brought
plus
it-
the library, if we haven't even gotten to that yet, so.
Brought it up over 20. almost 20 grand.
Yeah, it's like 140.
okay,
You did that.
Okay.
Okay.
sounds good to me.
All right, so. Basically, the narrative just says everything we should talk about. I'll make sure that the numbers align and that I added in language about the new electrical service and the removal of the wall. The disclosure of the current oil tanks
Mhm.
and furnaces. Okay, one thing was about all checking 11.4 on page 4, at the top of page 4. Is this building used for emergency shelter for the town?
No,
No,
It is used for public events. Is it on the historic register?
no,
We should do that, because there, it would open up some grant,
Yeah.
although.
but it also
Doesn't that limit
limits
what you can do?
everything you can do.
Yeah. Okay. That's for another day. Moving on to the library. So sort of same deal with what they've recommended in the report to replace, a new heat pump and the thermostat system. There's no walls we have to knock out to get to those things. I also, so getting to the thermal envelope, again, door sweeps, adding insulation to the attic. I'm also, from conversations Wendy and I had, I know replacing the door has been a priority for the library. And the trustees have gotten a few quotes for making that door also ADA accessible, which is the tip in the cap too. So I've added in the highest cost bid that I saw, which was $10,330, which actually messed up. So, but that wasn't to make it ADA compliant either. The ADA compliance one was about 7,000 change.
Right, I'm just, I didn't get a chance, I called them, they didn't call me back, just about those windows on the side. Are they just replacing, they're just replacing the door? Or are they getting rid of those windows on the side
If
that
they
they want
have
to
to.
replace, and I would hope that they would take out the whole thing.
Because I don't think that door is big enough
Yeah.
to be ADA compliant.
So they have to take out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move the whole thing.
And Marlene advised me to put it in the thermal envelope improvements, just because that door is really drafty.
Yes, it's
That crossover,
inside.
yeah, condensation, and high humidity, that sort of thing. So we've added it there. Although it would also, improve ADA.
Right.
Accessibility. Sort of same deal, using percentages for the project support and ADA improvements. Wendy, I know that you had a question about my language in the narrative about the
Yeah, the
bathroom.
bathroom, Nikki, he brought up the bathroom, making the bathroom ADA compliant, obviously.
We
It's
can't,
not going to happen in as the building.
Because
is
it's-
right now.
well, it's not accessible,
It would be structurally impossible.
right?
Because we would have to put in an elevator, which requires a structural engineer to go in there and reinforce everything, and it just is not
Moving the bathroom to the
going to
floor.
happen. That-
The floor, the
Yeah.
basement.
Which
Wh-
is the plan.
Where's the
but
bathroom now, in the basement?
Yeah.
You can put that chair rail thing that goes down.
It's too-
Have you seen the stairs?
I actually walked down them, I just don't remember them.
And also the bathroom is about this one.
I would say, if the bathroom, the last time I used the bathroom, I was a kid and it was
And it was
pretty
scary.
narrow.
I guess my question to you all about both buildings is, are there known ADA accessibility issues that we could cite, like, hey, these funds would be used toward,
We have,
projects?
we have a list for this building somewhere. It's probably it's out in the select board file, I think, because I feel like I just saw it the other day for something.
I think our assessment done.
Yeah, well, we didn't do it intentionally. They showed up. Yep. So like, for instance, the guardrails out here are a half inch too narrow.
We got that.
There's no hold handles in the bathroom, I think was an issue. Railings on both sides of the ramp out in the front. There's only railings on one side. Trying to think.
Is the door wide enough to let someone roll a wheelchair into the bathroom?
It'd be 36.
I was gonna say it's gotta be 36. I don't know what that opening is. I haven't.
That's the only other thing I can think of that would, because we don't use the second floor, so the second floor is inaccessible to everybody.
Right.
There's no fire exit, so we can't use it.
Right.
So,
I do have the second exit now. Oh, that was the other thing, is when they showed up, the ramp wasn't shoveled. So that wasn't ADA compliant.
He was here the other day,
Was he? He came back?
different guy, he had
No.
like two things.
So we'll get another report fairly soon then.
Yeah, that ramp was no problem.
No problem now.
the
Yeah.
width of the railings, no problem? Perfect.
Yeah, because it was high moisture day, so it leaned out a little bit.
Like I said, I have a router at home. We can just take a half inch off if we had to.
Or just a table saw, yeah, you just rip one side of it and set it over. It
Chisel
wasn't
back
that,
the 1.5 inch.
I know it was built to ADA compliance when it was built.
Bill up to the grant and you get it.
That's a crazy, it's not, it is, it isn't. Nothing's changed on it.
I don't think, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we were that bad off. It was a couple small things and a couple of them were seasonal, really.
What did he say the other day? Did he say anything of importance, of note? No?
Should have a report in another week or so.
Awesome.
I don't have a week, so.
No,
No, so I mean,
No, but we're taking 10% anyhow towards the ADA, so we should be fine. I mean, it's all low.
Of what, you know, so it can say.
I mean,
some numbers.
handholds, I mean, the
Yeah,
bars in the bathroom.
yeah, bars in the bathroom.
And the second level.
Additional railings to be added to the ramp system. I think one of the thresholds was too high.
Yes. Yeah.
Push button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have that.
Yeah,
We don't have an automated
Automatic
door. It's
door.
manual. You push it with your hand or your foot.
I feel like there was something,
Yeah, you gotta have the push.
the door, well, no, you don't have to, it's just, you have to have. It's gotta be less than 3 pounds of pull, so I think they were recommending, hydraulic assists on the doors. And if they're not, then it at least sounds good.
Yeah, I was thinking the electronic one. that you hit.
It opens
Yeah,
itself.
well, that's gonna cost more than 10%.
You gotta have to be able to open it.
Right.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I think
yeah,
it's usually, it can be a downward swing, but it has to be wide enough that they can do it with full speed.
right. And the pounds per
Yeah,
push can't be
yeah.
more than like 3 or
Yeah.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we just got to do this at school too, so I get to learn all the fancy things. Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, we're
Good
close to
times.
it, Wendy, are there, other than the bathroom, like, are there any immediate things? you think that-
No,
If we did
because I
the-
think our ramp is okay, I haven't heard anything. Matt, have we heard anything?
He liked doing it.
I like our ramp. It's a pain in the butt to shovel, but he likes the.
Is it mandatory to have a bathroom in a public library?
Yeah, yes, but what I'm coming to discuss about Alex next, kind of covers that, that's going on, thanks.
I was just wondering if we could get away with saying it doesn't have a public restroom. Okay,
So we are covered, they're not happy about it, but it is what it is. You know, the town just does not have money to do it.
As an aside, I know that we're also planning, there's gonna be a capital grant coming through for libraries that
That's
we're
good.
planning to.
Right here.
But we might, well, okay, great, we might be able to leverage the ADA money for the library from this grant in that application,
Right.
say.
That would be awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Say that, you know, the state awarded X amount of dollars to Merck and, you know, it'll go toward the total project.
nice, okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
That's just the future.
Alright.
Is the library is gonna be for emergency shelter,
No,
It's just a school.
Just a school.
and it's not on the historic registry either,
no,
but it's used by the public to access it. All right, so we updated the numbers, it's more like $140,000 now.
Mhm.
This next space is really the only space we kind of get to say other things, about the town, the library, who served. I tried to include some of those things with information that I have. If there's anything else that we need to convey. Speaking of.
It's really comprehensive and you do a
Well,
nice
I
job.
can tell you this much, Alex, so the library, I know whenever we have power outages in the area, a lot of people are rural. They use the library for internet, water, to get warmed up. So we try to, whenever there's a power outage, a severe power outage here, we try to have the library open as much as possible. So people can go in and get warmed up, get water.
can I ask that when that happens, that you notify Todd or myself, so that we can make sure that the school is opened, because that's. We appreciate everything you're doing for the townspeople. But that's what, like, that is what the school should be used for. It's designated for that. That's why the showers had to be updated and all that other stuff over there. So,
Share.
Yeah. yeah,
But
Yeah.
I'll do that in the future.
yeah, just that way, if you have a influx of people, we have a much larger facility that could help out and
I will try to add in something about that, I think that's.
Yeah.
Logic. One thing we didn't resolve above, sorry, and don't jump it back to town hall, for project management, I don't know if we can name a person who would be. Managing. Coordinating.
Not at this time. I think what we would do is we would hire a GC
Yeah.
once we find out. I mean, the furnace is coming out one way or the other.
Right.
So that's in the pile of stuff to discuss today. So,
Well, I mean, so I'm talking about the whole thing.
Right.
So, like.
Sort of oversee the entirety of both sites.
Yeah, I wrote in the money to pay, like Tanny, but she has to be here to like let them replace the window, open up the building, they let them do the windows or the installation in there, things like that.
that's where I would like to see a GC that we say, okay, this is part A of the upgrade. This is part B that's gonna come along as soon as this MERP money gets here, but you are gonna be, what we're hoping for is somebody that can oversee this project in its entirety through and through.
So you contract with the DC to manage.
If you don't, I think it's too much for a town employee or select board member or anybody really. It's not, and we don't have that professional background knowledge. If it was tech, I would say John could handle it. If it was, doing something with the town forest, sure, I could probably look at that, but none of us are general contractors, and nor do many of us have the time that it would take to be here during that time.
Well, that's the key.
Yeah,
Project coordination and management's one thing, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time to be here to do it, that's a whole nother animal.
and I don't even think that, necessarily Tammy would be, I wouldn't expect Tammy to be here with a key watching somebody put in a window. That's, that would be, no, I agree. I just think that if we hire somebody, it's gonna be somebody that we can hire, hand them a key and say, this is,
Facility manager.
yeah, this is the hours of operation that we need the building. I wouldn't say at least 75% accessible. I mean, you can't go tearing out the stairwell on a Monday morning thinking that we're gonna have it open to the public. So
Would you prefer to do that as well? Would it not put, because I don't think I wrote like Hadley's time.
Yeah, he put in time for Hadley to do it.
We can operate around our Monday that we're closed and our Friday also that's, we have days that are kind of flexible.
Yeah.
Then we have Monday that's completely open and if we have to shut down, I
Yeah.
don't think that's.
And- right.
They have to take the oil tank out. If you plan on doing it on a Monday or something, I don't think it's right to
Yeah.
furnace, I don't really think that it's.
Where this one's not gonna be we're not gonna be able to do it on a Friday. Say Monday, we're gonna be back open for business. That's just,
Flexible though. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some days that we're-
and I mean this in the nicest way possible. I mean, the town is gonna have to be flexible when this happens because, this building might be shut down for a week, maybe shut down for 2 weeks. It may be limited access. And that's we're gonna have to talk with Kathy about that.
So
And
what I brought in the language in the narrative just to say to either support wages for part-time staff or contract with a.
Yes, I think that's.
Yeah, there's a
Yep.
part-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we're back to that construction manager. See, you figured out what that was about.
Well, if maybe they would hire one. All right, I think that.
good.
We should.
All right, the last thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is just some of these later questions. There is question 20, this was not a flooded building, so this is a reimbursement basis normally, but there is this question about. You can request a financial hardship on a case by case basis to fully fund it up front. If you don't have the funds to cover the project in advance.
Oh, you.
The library doesn't though, does it?
Oh, we don't pay money.
The library doesn't because theirs is not,
Right.
we didn't vote on theirs. The town does have,
So,
we have that in, oh,
Well, we don't have $140,000 to cover.
yeah, but don't forget. Half of that, or not a half of it, but a third of that is the library.
Right, and I think, I don't know if the town has a line of credit or anything like that too, but.
Well, the problem with lines of credit is you have interest, so it's not a good idea to
No,
start
but
doing.
in no
like
way did they make you like say why, like.
I
I
would-
would just say yes.
I would just say yes, we would like the money up front.
They might ask you later, so you might have to come up with an explanation, but.
Well, and presumably they could say
We're a
no.
small town,
Right.
we're not Burlington or Montpelier, we're a small town, we don't have those kind of funds.
Again,
That's
is
why
that
we're looking for
something that if we said yes and they turned around and said, we disagree, would that negate the grant if they awarded it, or would
I
they just
doubt
say,
it. I
right,
think it's-
so,
They just say you're
Then
gonna
that's-
get your
You need to do
money.
it on a reimbursement basis and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so the town has part-time staff, correct? Um. Are any of you aware if the state has awarded an energy efficiency grant? To us in the last 5
No.
years?
In how long?
5 years.
5 years.
No.
I had to include the driving distance to the nearest municipality with 7,000 people.
That was New York.
It turns out it's Essex.
Wow.
That's 31 miles according to Google. That is part of the scoring criteria as well for this. You actually,
To see how remote we really are.
Okay.
yeah, we are not in the next category. So, and then had to say the population, we are in the highest category for that metric. Then there's some other things too, like 26. I didn't know if this was specifically true, but you have to attest to it. Mr. John West, I'm looking at you since you're the one listed on this application.
Yes, I can attest to that.
Okay. You just have to have the infrastructure. in
Yeah,
place
we have it. Comcast is right outside on the wall. And then
For
here.
all of the town.
No, we don't have it for all of the town.
Or that. or-
And if that my municipality has access to high-speed internet, yes.
Municipality does.
They can come drive and sit in the parking lot.
There's Comcast throughout the village.
Right, but
Yeah.
No,
and it does-
not
It's in that comment, but like it says. Support measures designed to ensure that by the end of the year 2024, every E911 business and residential location in Vermont has infrastructure capable of delivering internet access for service that has. Maximum or minimum download speed of 100 megabits per second.
no.
It's called Starlink. You put it in your backyard. You'll never get it.
So I could,
I have a 50 meg. They dropped it. It was like 250. Now all you guys join and you don't get any connectivity, but the reality behind it is we don't have any way to make this happen. Go talk to Fidium, who refuses to deliver high-speed service to my house.
Yep.
So you're saying that the VSA 202C
yeah.
says this is every house.
That's the goal, like, end of 2024. So-
Well, they better get
Check this
cracking.
box. I certify that my municipality has access to high-speed internet. As defined in the telecommunications. We don't. If you're talking every house here, we don't.
No.
And there is no plan by December 31st to have it hit. So the answer is no.
Right.
If it's every
Yeah.
house.
I mean, I think you still check the box and say yes.
Okay.
This, I mean, I think you interpreted it to say the municipality as this building.
Yeah, when I don't read it to every house as a municipality, I read it as,
According to the test I just ran, we've only got 37 megabits of upload speed here
Okay.
right now.
call Comcast.
I don't have to explain that in the application. Luckily.
Okay.
We think we got.
Consider them 7 megs, that's high speed.
Everyone's like, that's what we used to have? Yeah, it's faster than.
I think that's it. So I'm adding in the 15K we talked about, and we're gonna update the narratives accordingly. Anything else? Otherwise, I need you guys to say I can make those edits and submit it this week.
I make the motion that we allow Alex to make the edits as discussed and submit the grant application by September
By the
27th.
deadline.
September 27th.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
For clarifying, for real or not?
Okay, no, I think we guesstimated that ourselves. Hey, quick question though, and it's kind of just on the high speed thing. How fast is the town garage? What are we paying for down at town garage? Is that a gig?
No. I have.
Anybody?
I
Euler? Is it more than 100 meg?
think it was free.
300 meg? So why are we at Comcast at 30 meg? Why don't, Fidium runs right by the door. Why don't we just hook up the Fidium? Just a question, you know, on high speed.
Hey, you're the tech guy.
You check that.
And we get so little service from Comcast. 30 megs,
37.
37 megs, thank you.
Uploaded it.
That's,
Upload.
that's down. Up's probably 3 or 10. Up's the slower of them.
It's cheap.
Look into it, Johnny.
I will.
I'm gonna get this finished and. I'll go from there.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Alex, for all your work. Nice work on the transport one. The signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we gotta figure out when we can get them up.
100%. Keep going.
I bet you're doing good. Batting 100 right now, or 1,000, right?
This one would be bigger.
Sure. Please, Wendy, I know we've kept you waiting.
You are next on the list.
So has to do with Alex that I'm here. I guess I'm supposed to just tell you what's going on and. The state has a grant that's coming up that's going to help make libraries that are not ADA accessible. It's to the tune, I think, of $300,000, if I remember correctly. So we've been trying to get all of our ducks in a row with that because they had one initially in the spring that had to been shovel ready and that we had a week and that was not gonna happen. So, like I said before, I've been in a meeting before, but we've had architect drop the plans. We're just trying to get quotes on everything, but Alex, this was before you guys signed him up. He said, hey, I'll be happy to help you guys out, and then you guys hired him. So now we have to go through you. Say, hey, we'd like to, use some of the hours if possible. That's what I'm here for, is to ask for I can't tell you how many hours it's going to be because we're not going to find out until very late fall. It was supposed to be fall. You know how the state is. Now they've moved it to very late fall. And hopefully
It's very late.
I think that they mean December. That's the impression that I'm getting now. They came out with the first one. They had a webinar type thing on the internet, letting people know. So hopefully the same thing will happen and Alex and Hadley will be able to fill us in and then we would probably be able to gauge how much of Alex's time. I can't tell you how much right now.
Yeah.
We're just asking for
So
some hours because we're talking about almost doubling the building if that's the case and upgrading the septic, putting in an ADA bathroom, that sort of thing.
So in the past, you've worked with Alex before, right?
How do we have?
Not on a fee basis. I showed up to the meeting when this prior grant came up just to help them out and provide them on the grant, not on a volunteer basis.
Like,
Okay.
he's been to our meetings before to discuss, like this what we're talking about, he's been to talk to us about it.
Okay, so, when Alex works with the fire department, for example, because they're the only other entity that's been in to discuss with us. We have the 100-hour contract that we have with him and fire department came in, asked if they could use Alex and, as a town entity, use some of those hours. And what we agreed upon with them was a 50-50 split. We haven't talked about that with any other town entity at this point because You're the second ones that have come in at this point, so.
There's a
Um,
maximum number of hours too.
Um,
With the fire department.
with the fire department, did we?
Am I making that up?
I don't think we did, no.
But I have been asking, saying, hey, these are the ones we're gonna go after, you guys okay with that?
Yeah, it was per project basis. I think we agreed on the,
Yeah.
on the the subway one.
Projects right there,
Right.
the ones
We agreed
that
to-
were agreed on.
So I guess the question I'm proposing to the board is, do we feel that the 50-50 split is fair to the library also?
Why wouldn't it be? I think it is. Are you saying pay 100% versus the 50? I think the 50-50 is what we decided for all, for all.
Right,
entities.
we just don't have that actually in writing anywhere, so as entities come in,
We have to
we
vote on
need
it.
to make sure that we make it very clear that it is a 50-50 split.
Right, we have to approve the project.
As the library have, say it's, I'm pulling numbers, 10 hours of Alex's time. That would be
$600.
total, so it'd be 300 to the library. Is that feasible, given how tight the budget is sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the previous application, I don't know if it's gonna be similar or not, but the previous one was. It's probably more than what we just did with Mert, so just given that amount, it's probably. I don't know, it's hard to tell you how much time. It's gonna take
Yeah.
to balance
Yeah.
the questions And the budget documents, the quotes, all that stuff.
Which is precisely why we're hoping for the 50-50 split, because then the town in whole gets great use of your time, and it's, you know, you're spread well throughout the town, and that's what, I think that's what the town needs is from a great grant writing standpoint, is we need it everywhere in our town, because we are not Burlington or Colchester, Essex, you know, we don't have that money,
What about
so.
that funds?
I would make the motion that we allow the library to use Alex's services on a 50-50 split for the cost.
I would second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion about that? No, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
So Alex, will you bill the town for whatever time and then we'll
Yeah,
turn around and-
I think it was at the last meeting, I started updating my invoices to the town. To say, is it general, is it the fire department, is it now, is it the library that I spent my, where I spent my time? And that way. The treasurer, I can watch that involved, I assume, is doing something on the back end to invoice.
Separate them.
He's, yeah,
And that reminds me, still waiting for the planning commission.
For what?
You guys were supposed to put forth a request for his services to help with the grants for the town plan.
We didn't have, yeah,
you weren't there yet.
we
You-
didn't have, we better.
There you go.
Yeah.
They don't need it yet. When they need it, they'll
We
come.
will.
Don't push them. Don't push them.
Thank you, Wendy.
You're all set.
Just keep us updated.
Yes.
If you will.
Yeah,
Have a good
perfect.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
You can leave that on. You can leave it on, Matt.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So we're still, okay, so visitors. Okay,
Okay, just making sure.
are you sure? This is your chance to say nothing. If you don't say it now, you can't say it at all.
Forever hold. your
Okay.
peace.
Oh, you're off camera too, so nobody can see who I'm giving crap to.
That's you, man.
It's Al. Al did it. What's that?
Come on. down.
Bakers are
think-
here for the
Just,
certification.
just clarifying, for all the people that are on Zoom. Mary B and Deborah West, are you both here for Belvedere Mountain? You can either-
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
We're just gonna run through roads real quick, and then that is next on the agenda here.
He lies. There's nothing quick.
I would like for it to be quick.
There you go.
Mac, roads. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Parts are on order for number one. There was no discount, there was no cheap parts to be found, so it's gonna be up there.
Okay.
Number two is going down next, then you can have this new truck did arrive in Jericho.
It's in there?
A new truck is?
It's probably Williston by now.
So tell them we don't want it repaired. They can do that on, they can do that on their dime. To turn it in? That
Yeah,
seems
hey,
like a
fix that, right?
bullshit excuse.
Pull the battery, drive it for 50 miles, drop it off.
Well, I mean, plus, as the guy from Viking told me, you should make sure it's operational for at least November. So I mean, if it snows in November.
Oh,
You're
okay.
not gonna wanna suffocate again.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant it
Right.
already had been fitted with plow and
No.
no, it's just the actual truck is here. Okay,
Still
it got its mirrors.
Space reserved at Viking, but.
Okay.
Where that spike space is, it's hard to say.
Okay,
Other than that, we do have the Sani is brought up a motor a week ago today.
how's that?
Played with it. They played with it on Friday.
I talked with Al earlier, off the record, I guess is what he'd say, but.
Yeah.
Okay,
I still think you should get a hold of the case guy at least. and have
I
him-
agree.
I don't think it hurts to reach out to, I've been dealing with, give me just this. No, down to John Deere, I think it's Tim, yeah. He did all right by the school.
He tried to get a hold. When we were both back,
Oh.
talking grader,
Mhm.
he started off with a price and I told him, wing plow the whole thing. This is the price of the grader. If you want the wing to plow, we'll put it on later. That's not what I asked for.
Okay,
Case did it. Everybody else did it the right way.
okay,
I mean,
So,
I don't mind reaching out to him, cause I do like deer
Mhm.
myself.
yeah.
But
I mean, I feel it's only right to get a quote from as many as we can,
right.
because, I mean, I would assume that the big three are gonna be bigger in price,
Mhm.
but you never know what their options may be on the lease to own, you know.
This is the gravel pit loader?
Yes,
I thought we put that on hold.
we did. What we're looking at though, John, is if we can, it's due. I
Mhm.
mean, we're looking at 99, so it's 25 years old.
We got it, but we got two trucks that are dying that we gotta put
Right.
tons of money into. I
Right.
think the loader works. And I think you drive the loader. No offense, guys. That's my personal opinion.
Right, we're not,
I know we're talking about deferring it for a year, but we don't even know what that third truck's gonna do in a year. That we put ourselves behind the bind on that.
third truck is still warranty for 6 of them, get it total. I mean, it's only tree.
and one of these trucks is heading down the road
Yeah.
in November.
Yeah.
We're gonna have two trucks under warranty. We've got one truck that's a
Bit of a-
question, but we're replacing it with all new parts because we can't get,
Yeah,
With exhaust, the other one.
Right.
We're gonna work on slowly.
right,
Right.
I'm just repeating what we said last meeting when we talked about this. That's all.
Right.
The loader's
So,
doable and
at the last meeting, what we were discussing was how much money was in the new equipment fund.
Yeah,
Okay, so, and I explained that to Michael. And what he said is if the town is interested in a financing option. Not the town has to go with a financing option, but if the town is interested in a financing option, he would bring forth the options. Now, this to me doesn't look, well, the annual one doesn't look out of,
yeah, it's like,
way out of touch.
Right.
So if we can get that same quote style from the other companies,
right.
then it
You know
makes
what
the
your
greater,
monthly payment is or your annual
Yeah,
payment
it
is.
makes
It's
the-
easier to budget for.
it makes the payloader not as far fetched.
I do agree with the one thing you said to him, which is it's gotta wait until after election day so we can.
Without
put it
a
on the
doubt.
ballot.
Yep,
So, I mean, if the town shoots it down, the town shoots it down,
absolutely.
but
But we should have,
But we need to have
Options.
more than
Right.
just
Mhm.
one.
no, yeah,
So
exactly.
what I'm asking Mac now is to go to
We need three.
all of them. Because 5 is better than 3. You
Right.
know, then
I'm with you.
as we discussed before the meeting, you know. I would like to see these guys in a John Deere. I'd like to see them in a Cat to give a comparison to the Hyundai and the Sani that they've tried out so far.
Yeah.
You know, and if Cat and John Deere are willing to haul one up here for these guys to try out,
Right.
I'm not gonna say no.
No,
And if the town says no in March, you know, if we bring them a number and they say, no, that's crazy, you know, it's only, at least we know where we were.
Right.
And if, you know, in 2 years, they say, yeah, I guess we do need one, we can say.
Yeah.
You know, we could have saved ourselves.
Yep.
$70,000 doing it a year ago, you know, it's
'Cause that
it's
gets-
hard to tell.
It
I
gets
mean,
used a lot. That's the
yeah,
thing. That's
it
one
does.
thing.
How many hours are on that rig? Rough estimate?
Motor?
Yeah,
You figure you're loading gravel, you're using it for, you know, when trees are down, all the different
right.
things. It's quite
Yeah,
versatile.
well, and we're with the pit now,
With the
we're,
pit
you know,
now.
you're loading the sorter and grinder. You know, I mean,
Feel like you're gonna purchase something, it's a lot of money.
without,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a huge chunk of change.
Mhm.
So you really should have all your options on the table.
without a doubt.
And get something that's gonna have longevity.
Yep,
Yes.
It's gotta last.
That John Deere loader has lasted 25 years.
yep,
Honestly, I don't think what we have down there for a loaner or demo, I don't think will last that.
Right.
Just being around equipment most of my adult life.
Mhm.
Yep.
Just, and it's money, you know, I
Oh, yeah.
understand it's all about budgets and how much you have to play with, but you need to look at the longevity. Is it gonna hold the value when you go to trade it in 15 years,
Right.
20 years?
And what,
Like the loader down there now, I mean, that thing's $25,000. That tells you something.
yeah,
right,
That somebody's willing to pay $25,000 for that old rusty loader.
yep.
right.
So it's one of those-
What are you testing right now? I'm sorry, which one?
Same.
No.
We actually had a Honda. That's what. The light lights,
Mhm.
Yeah,
And how, I mean, neither of them are really what you think is gonna last 25 years?
I mean, maybe. But I have not seen
Thank you.
Good job on the ditching. I've got a lot of good comments on the ditching that you've done thus far. People like it. No, they really do. They appreciate it.
You're off the top of your head, do you know anybody besides Milton that sells the mulch to the hydro seeder? Does Bates have an ad on? I mean, it's worth a call, I guess.
it's worth a call. Maybe even check with Greens, because that may be something that he can order,
What's that?
just the mulch for the hydro seeder.
I don't know who gets that around here.
Because their Greens don't they have a hydro seeder?
They do, they have a rental.
I thought they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so they probably have.
They can probably get
They
it.
probably can get you some.
Milton said he gets his from, what's the,
Oliver,
Oliver Seed and
I
Milk.
said, is it worth calling Oliver, he said, we don't mark it up now. Whether they do or not.
it's worth a call to Oliver.
I would call.
The other one the other one may be Johnson
Yeah.
Oh, Johnson, the,
Hardware Rental,
yeah, yeah.
They probably do.
because they definitely have a seeder, yeah. I mean, any place you can think of is worth a call, Mac, to be honest with you. I mean,
Stuff we had.
Right.
We're at a point now where we've probably got, I don't know, 3 days with the hydro seeding to do, you know, touch things up.
yep, yep, no,
Oh, good.
good. I say,
I made that right.
I was just,
There you go.
I actually made him.
I love it when you say things are working good. That makes me happy, so,
The paving did go through with that same number.
okay,
I signed a paper and I haven't heard back from when they're gonna do it, but
Okay.
I'm assuming it's still on track.
and that was Hungerford, correct?
Yes.
Yep, at 92 or? Is it 92 or 97?
Anyone did the school?
Yes,
Yeah, they
Yep.
did. a good job.
I thought maybe it'd be different because it was right there at the school.
Yeah.
but it's not the way-
I've probably got it here somewhere, Mac. Don't worry about it.
Well, they did a good job over there. I watched them do it.
Yeah, it's right here. Wait. 96. Shot all the way around it, going. 96
Close.
time.
You're in the ballpark.
Okay, any others? Nothing from you? I heard John squeak, so I'm assuming he's got
That
something.
was who squeaking. I didn't even tell you, but I do have something. Hey, Mac, just on the warrant, it usually says what it is. Bernard and Jervis,
Yeah,
Jarvis,
that-
what's that for?
We talked about the gravel pit.
Yeah.
Extending that loan out with Act 250.
So that's the cost?
Forward,
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thanks.
They're, yeah. They're frustrated, they believe, but
Sure.
hopefully things will
Thank you.
work out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, it didn't have much of an explanation.
Right.
And the paper, I looked on the paper and it just says, hey, pay this invoice. I'm like, what was this for again?
I think I got one, the same paper from Tyler, it might have had a little bit more of an explanation.
Yeah.
That was actually from that.
Oh, I got it from you. It's good enough for me.
Plus I figured if I was here, I could explain it to you.
There you go.
Any others?
No, we have some folks waiting, so.
Yep.
So
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
all ready for, one more second. We all ready for next month? We'll call it next month, 2 months from now.
What's next month?
Snow.
We gotta get truck number 2 back, or one
Let's just-
and 2 back.
We
How
just,
about materials?
Material sand.
Sand and
We
such.
got plenty to start at least, I mean.
Alright.
We're gonna finish up, we're over my advances right now, on the end of the Lawyer Road, we're gonna finish that up this week, and then we're gonna go over to the Lawyer Road. Pull a bunch of stones over there, cause it's getting a little late to condition, pull a lot of stones, the culvert by your place, and the culvert down below that's been failed for a couple, try to get them done, and then there's the beaver on which cat that we're having a problem with. Right.
Okay.
Surprised.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for you to stay there just in case there's any questions
Right.
about
About you.
on the Belvedere Mountain Road.
I talked to Lance about it, and he said, no problem, but I wanna make sure. If I can hire Mark to trap on beaver.
Oh, two different, we're talking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
are you talking Belvedere Mountain or
No,
Luna?
no, he's talking which cat?
He's talking,
Luna.
Right now for us to go sit there.
no, he's not talking.
I
about-
understand.
I mean, he's gonna charge for it, and I
Is he-
don't know, probably $50 a beaver, but if there's 2 over there, that's 100, that's only 4 hours of sitting there with a gun and you don't see nothing.
Is he,
Yeah, I don't know if he'll do it,
is he licensed to trap? When he was working for us,
he was working under our.
he was working under our thing.
Oh,
I will ask him that question.
yeah.
Yeah, just not saying, nothing against Mark or anything. I just don't wanna get him in trouble
Right.
for trapping something.
He was talking about it, so he might have done it.
Okay.
That's the two-
Okay. Yeah, if we can just find that out, that would be good. So, all right, we are moving on, Mac. So Belvedere Mountain Road, I'm gonna turn that over to Nikki.
I asked this to be on the agenda from last meeting where we said we needed to certify the road. And you and Lance had a conversation that was over my head.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So,
So we have this survey, which was the one done in 82,
okay,
and then we've got Baker's survey, which I guess is,
January.
it's not.
it's in the big book,
Right.
okay. It's Town Road, we're talking, so. Parcel. I'm assuming this right here is the Baker property, the one that says 1946. Is that a? I don't know
Yeah,
what these
must be
numbers
the-
are.
They're right.
I'd like
yeah.
to see her survey, so if it's in the big book,
Yeah.
we'll bring it out. I mean, I'm sure Mary would like us to look at it since she paid for it. So let's get it out and see what it looks like.
This is where it comes down and it
Mm.
turns and goes across. So, and one of the things that we talked about at the last meeting was the state, when we were up there walking the Beaver Pond area, they were pretty definitive on where they thought the road was. I mean, even to the point where they moved the ribbons. And the one thing that stuck out to me was we were on, I can't remember which side of, but we were on one side or the other of the ledge that protrudes out right there. So when you come down off what's known as the staircase coming down the road, and then the road banks to the left across the pond.
Up there.
There was a ledge that comes up and would even be above the water level. You know, have the beavers dammed it up. And I wasn't sure if we could get the state to or surveyor to mark that. with a benchmark or something to that. And then use that benchmark as a point of reference from here on out as to where the road is. Couldn't see it over there, huh?
Well, I'll bring it over so people can go climb up, because
Okay.
just gonna slide this right on up there. It's a section.
So we're looking this corner right here, yep.
Yeah.
And this map looks very similar to the,
Very similar to that.
which is good for us and all parties involved. So yeah, you're looking Beaver Pond right here. Yes, and I mean, let's be honest, when they do a map like this, they came in here, they pulled all the old maps, they
Right.
pulled so
They
they
looked
pulled
at
They
off
looked
of
at
this map
Right,
information.
right.
So the fact that this looks the way it does and the fact that that looks the way it does is
Right.
not a coincidence.
No,
Right.
No,
What the information we need to know is it identified as a 3-rod road? Is it identified as a 2-rod road? And that was the question that I think Lance asked you about reading the,
I'll get the one that.
remember, what is it called? It's the road descriptions, right? That were handwritten in like 1700.
it used to be a 2, I'm pretty sure, when I was a kid and went riding up through there. I remember you couldn't meet a car without having to pull over.
Mhm. And I think that's what Mr. Brown has said in meetings past.
Let's get realistic. If you're driving across that road, you're desperate.
Wait,
Is
that's
that-
supposed-
Well, no,
I
back
think
in
that's
the,
supposed
it
to
was,
cross the
it
road.
was
That's what I'm trying to
possible.
remember.
Back in the day.
Back in the
It's
day.
not now. You
No.
can't miss that with a
It
car
wasn't
unless it's a
possible
4x4
within the last-
flip it.
20 years, I think.
It's so hard to tell because
Sorry,
No, that's fine.
this does mention Bathwood Hill, so you
Okay.
go there. Like as far as knowing the people that live there, these are people that look like, what was the road? What is that? Oh, it was in Elsie Wells.
But
book.
does it say anything about width?
No. it's-
Anything at all about width would be, because I would imagine that would carry the full length of the
No, this is it.
Bakersfield Mass survey and laid out 3
3
rods
rods
wide.
wide.
Beginning at County Road.
That's
Just
kind
south.
of-
County road.
So I mean, it's not even,
So that's what it should say. for
These
this
are the
road, though.
people.
that would be a
about
county road
This time of,
I'm saying, but
Well, yeah,
what I should say,
yeah.
for this particular road, we're trying to find the same thing.
right here, 2 rods wide,
2 rods, there you go. Yeah.
leading from Basswood Hill to so-called to the common ground.
Yep.
As follows viz. Beginning on the west
So
line
for
of,
the sake of our
Right,
visitors, we've just found in the description where it says 2 rods.
if that's Belvedere Mountain Road.
I believe it is.
well, nothing else comes from Basswood Hill.
Right.
There are no other roads leading off Basswood, is there? Never in the,
Take back. Please.
I'll look at it.
well, the problem is this description is from just before you were born in 1805.
Yeah.
So, you know, it could be way back when.
But that was what the state.
Right.
Right,
That's why it's only 2 rods. I
Right.
think, is because it was a stagecoach route years ago.
so what is common ground would be the next question as to where common ground was that Waterville or Belvedere, I guess technically would be the,
And this would be Belvedere. This, I think this is Basswood. Or
What is
this I
95?
don't know. And these are the people that live there.
L Levine. So let's see if we can cross-reference any of the
I couldn't find any.
David Wright's Barnyard,
Right.
W Wesson.
This is the list right here.
So we would be looking 97,
Any of
98,
that area. Is here.
SB Hazelton, CC Burton. Any of them, Wesson. But this is from when?
1871.
And this is 1805.
What I mean,
so-
that's
This starts
Yeah.
1850.
Couple of years earlier.
You know, so there's,
just a couple.
I was trying to just find. I didn't get very far. Here's Hazeltine. Waterville Mount in Waterville. I don't know, it's just. This is another 2-rod ride, 2 rods.
Survey is the, sorry, I gotta take that off. If I can read it.
Maybe that's more research to do.
Right. JF-teen, why do I, yeah. I think that's actually supposed to be IF. 90, IF Dean. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a bunch to go through. They're all,
So that's 90 though, we'd be in that same ballpark, yes, no, that's Waterville Mountain Road. Sorry,
this one's the 18.
what is S3 in the middle of that?
And on Elsie in 1871, it looks like a trail. It's not really
Well,
made yet,
Because.
and that's 1871.
Avery's Gore,
Stage come through,
Maybe.
that would be, yeah. And then
Wilson
just
Square,
car
that's
path would be-
Belvedere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get to go very far through.
No, Avery's Gore is actually,
The other-
that's Montgomery though,
East-
right?
the
That's
Kingsford Mountain.
right. So. This strip is not in area.
Does it show Belvedere on there? now?
Oh, it does. It's got Belvedere, Waterville, Avery's Gore. This is kind of a,
That's a.
I was checking to see if I could find like the commons.
What they mean by common. Is it common ground?
Common road.
No, it's
Really
it.
interestingly written.
It's not that one. It's this thing. Yeah, common ground.
Yeah.
Well, it's odd because there's this strip right.
Basswood Hill called the common ground as follows. Beginning the west line of Weston's lot. Birch tree running north. Okay, David Wright's.
Well, that's all we gotta do. We gotta find that birch tree.
Yeah, that birch tree.
Get out there and look for it.
220 years old now.
David Wright's barnyard
Just right to cut down.
leads to Johnson.
So,
No, that's not. Not Johnson, that road leads to Johnson.
so 100. Who is, yeah, so SB Hazeltine. SB Hazeltine is right on the bend that we're trying to figure out right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that T, there's an old trail that goes off and connects back to, which would be Peaked Hill Road,
Right.
which would
Yes.
actually run through, I
Right.
believe, the Baker property,
Yes, it would, through Baker.
which is what we were at.
Right.
So 98 and 100 are what we really need to find, which would be, well, they're both owned by the same parcel.
Is
So
there any right-
SB Hazelton,
Is there any right in there? David Wright?
maybe looking in the upper 90s. No, no,
Of course, this is a lot older. right?
Yeah.
This is 18, this is before.
there's an S, right? To 112, but that's way off.
Yeah.
Okay. So assuming,
That road would lead to Johnson, no, that
It-
was true. I don't know if
well, it
Belvedere
would-
went back.
it would have led to
Yeah.
Belvedere.
Yeah.
But in this book, it just says Lamoille County
Right,
or
that's what
Avery's
I think,
Gore.
Yeah,
So it almost would have been Belvedere
Yeah.
more than Johnson, but
Yeah.
in 1805,
1805, it could have
who the
been.
hell knows how big
Belvedere.
Johnson was?
Yeah,
Um. Okay, I was just looking to see if there was,
but most of the roads back then were 2 rods too. You look at a lot of them.
Well, yeah, cars weren't really.
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach
Yeah.
and horses.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
And
what
and
that
it
road
ran
is.
through barnyards, which makes sense because when I was a kid, there was a fence across
Well-
the road.
Yeah.
Just in case there was a word that. Didn't make sense and you couldn't say anything.
76. Bickford, Glendale. So it's coming on.
You're saying the book is from 1805.
Yes,
The book Josh has in his hands from
No.
1871.
right.
Well,
The
but they
binder.
also,
From the green, it starts 1850 to 144, but I didn't get very far. But a lot of them are right, from the pine tree to the big rock.
Right, well, that's what they all were back then,
And
yeah.
I think how that-
The avenue was that way years ago, was from this tree to that rock by the cemetery. The
so
rocks.
based on the information we have, Josh,
Based on the information we're reading here, that road would be 2 rods wide,
yeah,
Yep,
which, looking at the map, both maps realistically, the one from
82.
1982 and the one from Baker's, it looks as if it goes down. Around, is there a, that one has contour maps? I'm wondering how. What extent though? Cause if it had that little,
no,
Oh,
not,
the
that
bump.
little P2 on there,
yeah,
but it doesn't go to that. I don't know what the contour intervals are on that. Five foot. It would have to stick out more than 5 feet, which it doesn't. However, this even shows, when we were up there. Walking as a group, sorry, when we were up there walking as a group. We talked about where the trail had deviated to.
Yeah.
And that is actually identified on this map as well.
The deviation.
The deviation is right there. So see it right there, this double, this dotted line. So that deviation shows where they changed the trail to, which would have been onto the Baker's property,
right,
Right.
outside of the town
Okay.
right of way.
that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, cause they had that.
Big
the-
rock and all.
Well, yeah, the big rock is right here on this
Mhm.
corner.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, judging by this map and this map, which almost read identical. It would be just to the, if you're coming down and looking at the pond, it would be to the right side. Of that ledge that sticks up,
Mhm.
which is where the state people put the,
Which is where they
Stakes.
put,
Where they moved them.
where they moved the stakes to,
Right.
and it would be 2 rods wide.
How many feet I figured out.
15 point. It's a rod, 15.6. Deep.
no, I think so.
Is that, hang on, this is terrible, but. Hey Siri. What is the definition of a rod in measurements? 16.5 feet. Making the road 33 feet wide.
Yeah, that would make sense, too.
So. The purpose of this was to lay out where we think as a town that.
We have to say where.
Right.
To
So
make-
so the word that was used at that meeting from the state and from Mr. Ewing was to certify that road.
Okay,
And I don't know what that process is for us.
I think what we would have to do at this point would be to reach out to. The state. And find out what the certification process is. And have somebody, probably somebody like Barnard and Jarvis, they could come up and. Certify that parcel.
So what
But
was,
just looking at the maps that we have here. It doesn't look like anything would change on the Baker's
Right.
survey.
May I speak for one moment?
Yes, absolutely.
So might be easier for you to use the surveyor that we had because he actually lives across Belvedere and he jogs that route. So he went down and he found the old remnants of the road. So he actually knows where the original road is. That's why he was able to move the map over a little bit. As a child, so now go back to like the 70s, I remember that road being over further than where it was pushed. So you're dead on saying that it's off, like off of our property. Much further to the right of our property than what people have pushed onto us. But I would say that if you were going to have anybody go up there to show you where, you know, the remnants of that actual road are, it should either be Mr. Brown or it should be Lynn Amblo. So he's well aware of the area and I've already spent money on him, so he's, you know, he's definitely the person that I would recommend you go with.
Thank you, Mary.
Would you be willing to share that contact information with us?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's probably here.
On the map.
Yeah, it's actually, if you look on the map itself, it says Button Professional Land Surveyors.
Okay.
That's, yeah, that's the contact that you want. It's Lynn Amblo is who did it.
Okay, that was what I was looking for, was the name.
Right. So Lynn Amblo, and he has a camp on the other side of Belvedere.
Excellent.
So he's probably your guy for a lot of that area. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next time Lance stops in, Tammy, can you just show him all the information that we looked at here? Explain to him, or have him just, I know his education and background is also in this stuff.
Yeah.
Map reading, surveying. Might have been a little while since he's done it, but I know he has. Yeah.
Another pair of eyes.
Along with this, yeah, because this. There is another. Map here that goes back a little bit further, but it's not as that area. So this one's from 57.
Right.
But this whole area up here
It's blank.
is blank,
Yeah.
so it wasn't even,
It's probably good.
did you see that?
Yeah.
So that's the area that we were looking at here.
Yeah.
And then on this map, it's much more defined.
We'll leave this map on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close the book.
Can you also,
So you mentioned a couple of times we should talk to the state.
yes, no, I don't know who that is.
I mean,
If
what
you were gonna
department-
ask.
What department are we talking? about?
Well, it'd probably be AOT, but you'd want to be talking to like the Agency of Transportation's historian. You know, or, I mean, you could probably you'd have to call Montpelier, because it's not a local thing.
Right.
We
And
left the paper in here, the other map, so that Lance.
Might be able to point to.
I'm not sure that they can't certify it.
They would point to the person that they know.
Yeah.
I'm sure that for Nancy, if she was still there, has been through this before. You know
Right,
what I'm saying, so they
Yeah.
would know the contacts.
but as far as it being a town road, yeah, I think you're definitely gonna have to go with AOT. It's just a matter of what branch within the branch within the branch is
Well, I
gonna.
wonder if we could call a league of,
They could probably help
They
you out,
could
yeah,
call
League
it.
of Cities and Towns for sure. Oof.
okay. So I will find out the process for certifying this road. And if Lance can look, or maybe I'll try and connect with Lance as well.
Yep.
Just have them together.
So we'll put this on the agenda again for next time, so at least we can give you or give ourselves an update.
Yes. Yep.
I'm very optimistic that we'll just be able to do it, but you know,
Well, it's with what we saw when we went up there. And what that surveyed map shows,
it lines up.
I'm pretty confident, and at least with that first crossing.
Yeah,
We then need to establish where the road goes after that, you know, when we go up over the set of ledges. One map shows it going straight up the brook bed, one map shows it going to the left. The the hand-drawn map from 82
Yeah.
showed it going to the left. And also the
Yeah.
map from 1871 showed it going to the left,
I wonder if Mary's guy would know that.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be another thing, is we could reach out to him. Or,
Let me
and,
just add one thing. He didn't necessarily just use all the old maps. He used advanced satellite imaging, like he really used the new technology to be
Yeah.
able to do that large piece of property. That's why I'm fairly confident you're gonna get pretty darn close to where it really is.
perfect,
I
yep,
agree.
great. All right.
Thank you.
At this point, we don't have anything to really discuss at this point. I would like to leave the next agenda item there, but at this point, we don't have anything new.
Okay.
And I told Tammy to put that on the agenda, and if
Okay.
the Lunos, yeah, and if we had either an idea or an update, then we could run with some information. One idea I did have is that, you know, if the ATV club is interested in continuing to use that road, maybe they'd be willing to do a little
Work.
work on that
Mhm.
section also, provided, you know, like we said at the initial meeting, you know, we had a older culvert
I
that,
was gonna say, we had that older culvert. That was really.
an
the
older
commitment
culvert
we
that
made.
could work. It's just, we can't, at this point, I don't believe we can put man hours into it without setting a precedence that we can't
But
sustain.
I think we offered that culvert to them if they wanted to put that.
Yep.
culvert in. That was the deal, right? If I remember.
That's the way I read it, yes. That's the update without giving an update. Warrants and reports, warrants have been gone through, review the mail. I do have the quote from Hilbert. At this point, we still have people giving quotes, correct? We still have
I
people,
requested quotes. I don't know if anyone else is, Penny, is any of the other ones come out?
for the furnace,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places.
okay,
Okay.
well, I don't wanna disclose their value
No.
Right.
without,
wanna-
you know, if it's still open, so we have a bid from
Yeah.
them. And it will remain here with us. This is the letter from John Letty, that Mr. Dreamus was here to discuss
Yep.
earlier, so
Yep.
that has been
Okay.
done.
That's Tammy, or get rid of it.
That one's just, yeah, garbage, I think, at this point. This is the letter from Alex, or the line of letters from Alex about getting the bicycle pedestrian program grant. There's another one of those. Sorry, I have two of these. Matt, would you be willing to reach out to Mr. Denton in Enosburg?
And find out where he bought that.
Find out where they got those signs. We have $6,600. 66. If you could just reach out to them, because those are the push buttons, because we'll probably have to talk to Green Mountain also about getting a power supply for those.
Solar, I thought.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Okay.
battery backup.
Okay, so we might have to talk to the library about cutting their trees, so our solar powers are always good.
One of those trees is gonna have to go anyway.
I only said that because you didn't react as bad as I thought you were going to be honest with you. I was waiting to get whacked, to be honest. But if you could do that, Mac, that would be great, and we will keep that in the new mail so that we can. Tammy, actually, can you put that under grants? Bicycle and pedestrian program? Just so we can get an update from it, just so that we can, the bicycle and pedestrian program, just put that and we will know what we're talking about. And we can just make sure that this has forward progress and we're not falling behind. This is funding petition. Auspices. That's the way it sounds. Given a transfer assets will request funds from nonprofits who have made previous requests. And we noticed last year, a number of towns brought up the idea of making petition signatures a regular requirement. Could you confirm would be required to collect petition signatures for town appropriations? They want to know if we're making it mandatory for them to bring in a petition to request town funds at town meeting day. This
We
is
addressed
Franklin,
this last week.
Franklin County Home Health Agency. We said no, right? We said the only thing we were making mandatory is that they had their requests in before the end of the year.
Right.
And that they had a blurb explaining what the funds were used for and how it would affect our town.
Right.
Correct?
That's what we said.
Yes.
That's what we have, that's what we've always done.
So have we told them that they have that information?
Okay,
So
perfect.
that's that one.
Thank you.
And the garbage.
This is another one from Alex about the Merc, which he just gave us the update on. This is Mr. Luno. And just so there's, no, everything's completely transparent here. Mr. Luno is the old forestry teacher at Green Mountain Tech, and I worked with him 13 years ago when I was starting teaching. So his email came to my personal email. I forwarded it to the town, and that's how it's,
Okay.
just in case anybody's like, why the hell do you got your personal email on there? So,
Yeah.
yeah, until we can come up with an actual
Right.
like plan of attack, I think just that way that, yes. Quote for paving. Can we file this as we have selected a,
Mhm.
do we need to keep them until the completion of the project?
We took the whole-
I got it on the phone.
Okay, you have all these, so that can be filed under G. There we go. This one back in the governor's highway safety thing. That's why the sheriff was here that day one time.
He was here again on, or somebody was up here on
Yes.
Tuesday.
Yeah, he's been.
Awesome.
It's great.
So following that meeting, I think under, what do we put that under? We need to figure out if we're, what we're hoping to get so that we have information to present at the informational meeting.
Right.
We know his hourly rate, it's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
We know how much we've asked for from the town in that line item. I think if my math is correct, I think we could almost ask for like 15 hours of service.
Counted 60.
Yeah.
So they couldn't contract with us. They were assisting Enosburg technically
Right,
with trying to get their own force going.
right,
And they advised us to get in on it.
yes. That's what Jesse wanted.
Just pass it on.
Yeah.
Fine with that.
So we kind of have two options at this.
Well, we
point.
do, but we don't.
Right.
I mean, we do. We
On
have,
paper,
we
we
have
have
two
two
people that are willing to service our community. However, only one of the two is actually an entity.
Exists
Right now.
Right, yeah, I mean, so realistically. Yeah, we have one, but realistically, even. If Enosburg gets the go ahead, I'm assuming they're putting it to vote in March. Or is it going to vote?
Might
in-
even go in November. I haven't had a chance to talk to
Okay.
Jesse. for another-
I mean, if Jesse is willing to come and talk to us, and just kind of give us like an up to,
That would be.
He would.
I think, would you mind
Yeah.
making that contact and seeing if you would be coming to the next agenda?
Let's see, move to the next.
And then we can put some
meeting.
information together
Yeah.
for that informational meeting.
Yeah, and I mean,
to follow
it doesn't hurt to, I mean, realistically, we could say we want to do a 3-month contract with the sheriff's department to see how it goes and say, Jesse, if you're up and running in 3 months, we'll give you 3 months, and depending on how stuff goes,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
establish a,
They're trying. to
Contract
do
from
more
there.
regional- That's what they're trying to set up.
yeah. Which I completely understand. I don't think we can. I don't think we can completely negate one because there's the option that a second may be starting. I think we need to give them both an option.
Yep,
Pending the taxpayers saying that they actually want
want it or not.
it, right? Zoning. Oh, this is from Brian. This was the one that Alex said he looked into, timber for transit.
This came up last time too, and we sort of went,
We didn't think,
Not quite sure
we-
how it relates.
yeah,
Alex said it doesn't fit what we were trying to. show
right.
on
So
it.
these two, we've looked at. Mr. Wescombe, we've looked at him. We've had our grant writer look at him. He doesn't think we fit the criteria. So at this time, we're going to file under G.
under G.
And this is. This is a letter to Kathy. She is filling out a, Lance isn't here, so if anybody wants to get red faced and scream for Lance, we can do that. I am filling out the PTTR for the conveyance of the school property to the new district.
Talked about this last time.
We did. That's why it keeps getting put back in the new mail, because we don't want to deal with it.
Gotcha.
As you may recall, the handwritten deed you faxed to Morgan is very difficult to read. Do you know the acreage of the school and whatever is conveyed minus the 1.69 acres?
Did you ever figure out that was, because I don't ever remember voting on that in a school vote.
I don't believe we did, unless it was in the fine print of Act 64.
He was
Is it
gonna
4?
check with Tenny to find out.
Okay,
Oh, that's right.
I don't
so,
think so, but I know there's some towns that kept their school facilities and they actually lease it to the
Right.
supervisory union.
Which is better way to do it,
Yes,
honestly.
especially when you have the money we put into that building.
We don't need to be giving that building.
We
away.
built that building, right?
Look at about 6
It's
million.
also our emergency shelter
Yes.
Right. And that's twofold, that generator's over there.
and the generator
generator
belongs to the
That
town.
generator for that
Yes,
reason.
it does.
Or otherwise we would service that generator. We service the generator. The town pays for the service of the generator. They pay for the gas because it's an emergency shelter.
Yes.
diesel.
Diesel, gas. I call gas. and
Fuel.
diesel the same thing.
Fuel. Any others? There's no Brigham Academy update. I reviewed the mail.
Yes.
Yes, there is. The one that I said or the one that you said?
It's kind of not the one that you said per se, but you touched on it briefly. And that is, we still need to determine, I'd like to get the budget type items started in October. I'd like to talk about adding like so much time to the meetings or whatever, just to get the budget moving so that we have it done. We're not doing this in January.
So what we've done in the past is put budget at the bottom of board business, and if it's a night where we're here at 9:30.
Yeah, you're not doing it.
No, I'm just saying, if there's a night that we're here at 9:30 and still discussing things, it gets tabled.
Yeah.
If there's a night where it's 7:30 and we're done,
We can do it.
then we tackle it for an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Is that what you would like to do at this
That's
point?
what I think we should, that's my suggestion.
Okay, so can we put budget on the board business?
Like creation or whatever you want.
Yeah, creation / overview, discussion.
Yeah.
Whatever number, whatever word floats your
With
boat.
the understanding though, that if we get to December and we still haven't had a chance
Then we
to,
gotta work on it.
Yeah.
so
well,
what's that, so what's
mean,
that time where we're
The
gonna have
time
to?
frame is, the time frame is typically mid-December.
Right.
You know, like, if we haven't started doing anything by the first meeting in December, then
Everything.
the second meeting, the first meeting in January, 2 special meetings, and it's finalized by typically around the 20th of January. The 20th of January is that ballpark area is when it has to be submitted for, that's what's going in the book.
My hope is to have it done before we get in, like, into deep into December, like. be
And I
done
think
by the
with-
First meeting. in
And I think with our papers that we have now,
Yeah.
it's not gonna take us long.
No, I think we can blast through pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is just having a running tally. So maybe Tammy, even another one of these, which is probably out there and probably already exists, that just budgeted. Yeah, a budgetary items.
Yep.
That way, if anything comes in, like the letter that we received today, if it has a dollar amount on it, that can go in there for us to review. You know, if Kathy or yourself or Tom have anything that you're like, hey, we definitely need this, write it down, stick it in the folder. Yes, yep. And I think actually the last 2 years are still out there in our board business box, so.
Probably file that too.
Historical, maybe historical.
Never know when you're gonna have to go back. I think we're supposed to keep it for 5 years.
The file cabinet. All right,
All right.
so we have the other.
Yeah, so my last thing is, I would like to enter in executive session to discuss, personnel, not personnel issues, just personnel.
Yes, now. There are no issues.
I'll make a motion that we enter into executive session for personnel discussion.
Discussions, no decisions.
Being made.
I will second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Do we want to ask Mac to
Hey,
stay?
Mac, you should stay.
Okay,
Mac, you should stay.
motion has been,
Have a good night.
motion has been made and seconded with the amendment that we ask Mac to stay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed besides Mac?
So guys, we're gonna be pausing this and shutting off the video. You're more than welcome to sit there, but we'll be back in a bit and pretty much we're done. So I don't know if you want to hang. Hey, pause.
Freaking muter's not unmuted. Hang on, pause.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
You're on.
Let's go.
We have made a motion to exit executive session at 9:55. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
I'm gonna,
During executive session, no decisions were made, as we were only discussing personnel.
can I now make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:55?
I will second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
Any opposed?
Yeah.